So welcome everybody to our online lesson for today. We're getting close to the end of the school term. For some schools today is the last week of term, for other schools next week and some the week after. We will be having a lesson today and also next week, but today what we're going to be looking at is a few chess variants. So a chess variant is a game of chess which you play with your normal set of chess pieces in a chessboard, but the rules are a little bit different from normal chess. Now, the reason that we play these games is, first of all, to just add a little bit of interest in something different in a chess lesson. And we've got the same sort of standard chess lesson every week for 10 or 12 weeks. This is a long-term term too. It can get a bit monotonous if we're always doing the same thing. So this is a good way of breaking things up and getting people to think a little bit differently. Also, sometimes kids, when you're learning the same strategies all the time, we're talking about the 3 golden rules and about forks and pins and skewers, you can get onto autopilot a little bit. And so you just start doing moves without actually stopping and thinking, gee, hang on a second, really what is the best move here? You're pretty confident with the moves that you're playing, particularly the opening moves, and you tend to get on a bit of autopilot. So we like to bring you back and set you up in a situation where you're a complete beginner again. You've never played this game. This will be a brand new game of chess. Even though it is chess, it'll be a brand new game that you've perhaps never played before. Because I always think that you have to approach every game of chess as if you're a complete beginner. Now, even when I'm playing a game of chess or talking to somebody about chess, I'm always saying, well, okay, I'm still a beginner. There's still a lot more that I can learn. I could learn from a grandmaster. I could learn from a player who's got a rating of 2,600, which we call super grandmaster, or I could learn certainly from the world champion. And even the world champions, they know that they can still learn more about chess, and they're thinking, how can I still keep myself improving? So as a way of really getting you back to square one and saying, oh, gee, I don't even know what I'm doing here, we're going to go through, hopefully we've got time for 3 different chess variants today, and we're going to learn how to play each of those 3 different games. So the first one is really simple. We just call this one double move chess. All right, straightforward. White does the first move, and then from now on, every player, each player, black and white, gets 2 moves in a row. So, for example, black could move a knight, and then black would get a second move and could do anything they wanted to on that second move. So maybe you take the pawn. Right. As soon as you've done that, white gets 2 moves. Okay, this is double move chess. So if white's got 2 moves, you can think, oh, what could white do to try and do something good in 2 moves? Maybe white's going to move the queen and then have a second move and use the queen to take the knight. Now the great thing about double move chess is that you really have to be thinking 2 steps ahead. Right? Hopefully by now, all of you guys out there who are listening to these lessons and playing games are doing really well at thinking 1 step ahead. You're saying, well, if I move there, what's my opponent going to do next? Oh, they're going to come and take me. If I go there, is there anything dangerous that's going to happen? Or planning out your own next move. Okay, I'm going to put my bishop there, and then next move I'm going to get my opponent in checkmate. I'm going to put it there, next move I'm going to take their queen. Right? So that's great that you're thinking 1 step ahead. This game is going to help you to challenge yourself and stretch yourself a little bit so that you can start thinking 2 steps ahead, not just 1 step ahead. Right? You have to think 2 steps ahead because on every move you get 2 moves. You get 2 moves on each turn. So you take a turn, you get to move 2 pieces, or you get to move the same piece twice. All right, so have a think about this. White's just played queen to take the knight in 2 moves, so 1 move, 2 moves, and has taken the knight. Is that a good idea? Is that a safe move? So if we're thinking 2 steps ahead, type into your chat box or your questions, what do you think about that move? Is that going to be a safe move for white if black has 2 moves on his next turn as well? So sometimes we've got to just get our head around the terminology with this. A move might be moving your queen 1 spot, but that's not your whole turn. So a turn is where it's your turn, and you might have 2 moves in that situation. And this is a double move game. We're going to just get 2 moves each. And then after 2 moves, it's the end of your turn. So is that safe? Most people are saying, no, it's definitely not safe. You're going to lose your queen. All right. Well, let's have a look. what can black do? Well, black can make a move, one with his pawn, and then because black's got two moves in a row, second move can take the queen. All right, so remember, double move chess, you get two moves. Black gets two moves, white gets two moves, black gets two moves. The only thing is just at the start of the game, white's first move, white just gets one move because white gets to go first, and then black gets two, white gets two after that. All right, so a pretty straightforward game. You do have to be very careful, always thinking 2 steps ahead. There can be some really nasty, sneaky checkmates going on in a game like this. So let's say white's next move, 1, and then second move maybe to develop another piece, get a second piece off the back row into the attack, 2 moves. All right, so that's good. 2 pieces developed off the back row into the attack, and now we're thinking about 2 moves for black, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, there's a couple of things that that we need to know about. First of all, black is allowed to do a move and put white's king in check. All right, it's possible that he could put white's king in check. If you put someone in check on the first move, that's the end of your turn. You can't have 2 moves and go 1, put him in check, 2, take the king. Okay, so if you're going to put your opponent's king in check, try and make sure you do that on the second move. Okay, because you're going to need that first move for, well, you're going to waste your second move if you put your opponent in check on the first move. Okay, so if black does take that pawn and put white in check, that's the end of the turn. Okay, let's go back a step, and we'll say what we think that black's 2 moves are going to be. So black's going to go 1 with the queen, and then 2, take the piece for nothing. All right, so the second thing to know is that white can move into check on his first move. So the first move could be moving the king forwards into check. All right, there's going to be a check from the queen. And then the second move, get your king out of check. So you are allowed to move your king in and then out of check, depending on well, maybe if you want to do that, you want to move your king into check and then out of check, you're allowed to do that. So you have to be careful. Let's say that we've got, let's say that white does 1 and then 2, thinking that black's going to play 1, 2. This is not actually checkmate. All right, you see, with double move chess, this is not checkmate. White can move his king to take the queen, and then on the second move, move his king out of check. So you have to be pretty careful, because in 2-move game, you can move into check and then out of it. It's a lot harder to get a checkmate. It's a lot harder to get a checkmate. So that would not be a checkmate. White can move his take and then keep on moving his king and get out of check that way. All right, any questions that you've got along the way, because this is something a little bit different, feel free to just type them into your chat box. I'll see what they are, and I'll try and answer everyone's questions today, because we need to make sure that we really understand these rules. It's like learning a whole new game of chess. Even though we are using exactly the same chess pieces, we're just using all these pieces in a different way now. Okay, so we're using the pieces in a different way. So remember, 2-move or double move chess, really simple. White moves 1, and then from then on, black gets to do 2 moves, white gets 2 moves, black gets 2 moves, white gets 2 moves. Okay, so if we go 1, 2, remember about checks. If we put our opponent in check on the first move, then straight away it's your opponent's turn to move. You forfeit that second move if you put them in check. So then black can go 1, 2, right? And if you would like to, white can move his king into check and then out of check. So in effect, you can just sort of move your king into danger and then out of danger. So he's allowed to go 1, and then once he's moved his king there, maybe move it back again. As long as you're out of check at the end of your turn, that's all that matters. You've just got to be king safe. All right, so that's what we call double chess, and that's going to help you thinking 2 steps ahead. All right, the next game we're going to learn. Let's go back to the start, and we're going to go through. Wait for everyone's screen to load up so you can see back at the start position. The second game we're going to learn. The second game we're going to learn, similar sort of thing. It's designed to try and get you thinking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead. So we're planning out not just what's the next move, but also 2 or 3 or 4 moves into the future. We call this game Snowball chess. Now everybody could imagine a snowball rolling down a hill. I'll just maybe show you a picture of a snowball rolling down a hill so that gives you a bit of an idea. In case you've never seen a snowball rolling down a hill, I guess most of us live in Australia, so it's probably not very often that you would have seen snowballs. But here we have a snowball rolling down a hill. As that snowball rolls down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So as it goes, it picks up all the snow that comes with it. So our pieces are going to, our moves in this game are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, so that's what snowball chess is. Okay, it's a game that keeps growing after every move. So the way that this works, again, all your pieces are just moved normally, exactly the same way they would if you were playing a normal game of chess. We're still aiming for checkmate. That's how you win the game. White gets one move, and then things from here start to snowball. Black's turn, black gets to do 2 moves. So black's going to play 1, and then 2. Right? After black does 2 moves, white gets 3 moves. Now with snowball chess, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it gets a lot of moves very quickly. There's a lot of checkmates early on. So your most important strategy is to really be thinking about how can you get your opponent in checkmate. I know it's tempting, you've got 3 moves, you think, oh cool, I'll take his queen, his rook, his pawn, his bishop, when you've got lots of moves, but you really want to try for a checkmate more so than taking all your opponent's pieces. So if it was white's turn here, and white's done 1 move, then black's done 2, white's turn, white's got 3 moves, type into your chat box if you can see what moves white might play with 3 moves to get checkmate. Okay, 3 moves, what would you do to get checkmate? So we're planning a few steps ahead. Okay, we've got an answer from Matthew there that says 4-move checkmate strategy. All right, 4-move checkmate is exactly right. So we're going to do 3 moves. We've got 1, we've got 2, and then 3 moves. Now we have a checkmate. In snowball chess, your first move, all right, black's king's in check here. The first move that black's king has to do must get him out of check. You can't do a move and stay in check like in double move chess, so you can't take the queen and then run away like you could in double move chess, but you have to get yourself out of check on the very first move. Okay, so you're in check, got to get out of check. Okay, that's the first move of your turn, has to be to get yourself out of check. Here, black's in check, can't get his king out of check, can't take the queen, can't block, can't run away, and there we have checkmate. Right, so that didn't take very long at all. It was really only 2 moves. White got 1 turn, moved 1, black moved 2, then white's second turn, boom, checkmate straight away. With a lot of these games, you probably need to play them 2, 3, 4, 5 times to get the hang of them and to try and start picking up some of these strategies. Okay, because the strategies, particularly in snowball chess, when you're getting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 moves, well, there's some really good checkmates that come up with that. All right, so we're going to go back and we're going to have a look at another game that might happen. So now black learns from his mistake. He goes, oh, gee, I don't want to fall for that one. This time I'm going to do a different 2 moves to keep this game going. I'm going to move queen's pawn forwards instead, and then take that pawn. So there's your 2 moves, which means white has now 3 moves. If white tries for that same checkmate, it's not going to be checkmate. Okay, we can do bishop here, queen out, queen takes the weak spot, right? But that's not checkmate because black's king has an escape square as well. Okay, so it's not going to be checkmate because black's king can escape out under d7. So rather than taking, white prefers to get more pieces developed. The strategies of this game are very similar, or almost exactly the same as a normal game. You still need to develop all your pieces into the attack. You need to get your king safe. You need to control the middle of the board. Right? So your strategies are the same. It's just that you really need to be planning 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves ahead. Right? So black's had his 2 moves. White now gets 3 moves. So 1, 2, and 3. Moving the bishop. Alright, black now has 4 moves. Okay, so black's got to plan out 4 moves in advance. Same thing applies as when it was in the double move chess. if black's first move is to put white into check, you forfeit the rest of your turn. Okay? So even though he's got 4 moves, if you do a check on the first move, that's it. You've lost the rest of your moves, and white continues on with 5 moves. Okay? So if black does 1, 2, and takes the knight with a check, then we have wasted 2 moves. He's got 4 moves, but he's got check on the second move. But white continues on now with 5 moves in this game. Okay, so black's wasting his turn. So if you're going to put someone in check, make sure you put him in check on the last move of the game of your turn. Right, if you've got 4 moves, do 1, 2, 3, then check on the last one. Your opponent has to get out of check, but you're not going to waste any of your moves. Your opponent still has to get out of check though, which is good for you. All right, so black has 4 moves here. Let's choose some moves for black, and we're going to try with the bishop. 1, take the queen. 2, get the queen into the attack. 3, and then take the knight. 4. Okay, so 4 moves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and at the end, leaving white in check is a good strategy, because after 4 moves got check, white has to still get out of check on his first move. So even though white's got 5 moves, right, even though he's got 5 moves, one of those moves is sort of wasted by getting out of check. So he's got really no choice. He's in check, must get his king out of check. The best way of doing it is to take that. So now he's got 4 moves left. Well, let's have a bit of a think and see if we can do a checkmate in 4 moves. Can't do a checkmate in 4 moves, so he just does the best that he can. 1 more move, 2 more moves, 3 more moves, developing a piece into the attack, and 4 moves. All right. So now black has 5 moves. Sorry, 6 moves now. White's just had 5, black's got 6 moves, and the game keeps on going. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Main thing to aim for, see if you can get your opponent in checkmate as quickly as you can. Right. If you just get greedy and say, hey, look, I can take all these great pieces, you're going to find that you actually end up getting checkmated. So let's say we've got 6 moves for black. We go 1, 2, yeah, we get to take another piece. Oh, cool, now I've got an open file for my rook. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. White's now got 7 moves. Doesn't even need to use all 7 moves to get the checkmate here. It's really easy. We just move out of danger. Block off the king 2. Pop the knight into the middle 3. And then the 4th move is checkmate. Alright, so we've now got the king in check. We've got the rook covering the squares next to the king. We've got the knight protecting the bishop. So a nice easy checkmate. Didn't even have to use this whole 7 moves. Just did it in 4 moves. Okay. So you notice he didn't bother taking black's rook, which was in danger. He didn't bother moving up to take the knight. Just focused on doing the checkmate. All right. So that's the strategy that you should be aiming for when you're doing snowball chess. Okay. Things are snowballing quickly. You do need to really focus on trying to get a checkmate. And the way that you do that is you sort of imagine in your mind what the position is going to be at the end. Gee, how could I make a checkmate? And then you just count out the moves to actually try and get there. And this game, you should never have 2 people who are playing a game who are getting like 12 moves, 13 moves, 14 moves, 15 moves in a game. By then, it should always be a checkmate. Right? So we've done a double move chess, we've done our take me chess, and now the third one, we've got just enough time to go through and learn the third game, is probably one of the most popular ones with my students because it is it's completely crazy. In fact, I used to call it crazy chess, even though now we call it take me chess. So take me chess is completely the opposite of normal chess. Instead of trying to get your opponent in checkmate to win the game, the aim of the game is to lose all of your pieces. That's why it's called take me chess, because what we're trying to do is get all your pieces taken. Okay, that's the aim of the game. If you end up with no pieces on the board at all, you win, and that includes your king. That includes your king. So all the pieces again, they move exactly like they would normally. Both players just get one move each at a time, so back to a pretty easy normal game. But in this game, you have to try and lose all your pieces. All right, so let's say we start off with the first move for white, and then black's second move is to advance his pawn forwards, leaving it in a position where it can get taken. Now, the rules of this game say that if you can take an opponent's piece, you have to. That's the rule. If you can take a piece, you have to take that piece. So when black moves his pawn forwards to f5 here, if he wants to, he can say, take me, which means that white has to take black. If black doesn't say take me, it's still take me chess. You still have to take. That is a rule. So if white just says, you didn't say take me, and moves his knight, that doesn't mean you're allowed to move the knight. You would have to take that move back, and now you'd have to move to take a piece. Right? So the rule of the game is if you can take something, you have to take that piece. That's what take me chess is. If you can take something, you have to. The aim of the game is just to lose all your pieces. So black puts something else to try and lose that piece, gets taken. Now white can say, take me. White's got a chance to take me. Right? Black can take. Then white moves his bishop all the way over there. Take me. Right? Bishop's in danger, so it can get taken. But black doesn't have to take that bishop. All right? Take me chess, you do have to take something if you can, but you get to choose which piece it is that you want to take. So if the bishop goes all the way out and leaves the bishop in danger, yes, you could take the bishop, but maybe black doesn't want to take the bishop. Maybe instead he wants to sacrifice his queen and take the pawn. Right? So instead of taking the bishop, which he could have done, right, he thinks, much better to use my queen to take a pawn. It's still a take, so take me chess. You're allowed to choose which one you want to take, but this time I'm going to take something which loses my queen. Right? And now white's got a choice. It's take me chess. So white can choose to take with the bishop, the queen, the knight, the king, or even to do bishop takes pawn. Right? So there's lots of choices then for white. Does he want to take the queen? Does he want to take the pawn? In this game, there is no check. So white's king is just a normal piece, the same as any other piece. Right? There's no such thing as check in this game. It's just another piece. The aim of the game has nothing to do with the king. The aim of the game is just how do I take, or how do I lose all of my pieces. Once all your pieces are gone, that's game over. So if white wants to, white can just use the bishop and take the pawn, right? Leaving his king in danger, and then maybe next move his king will get taken and the game can continue on, even though white has no king. Right? So that's what take me chess is all about. Take me chess, let's say take that piece, and then it's take. You have to take if you can. White's got nothing to take. Now white can choose any move that he wants. So if you can take, you have to. In this game, same thing, really no other differences. You're allowed to castle. You're allowed to move your pawn all the way to the end of the board. If you get a pawn to the end of the board, you can get a promotion. Okay, remember, in chess, when you get a pawn to the end of the board, you don't have to turn it into a queen. Right? You can, because the queen's the best piece. But maybe in take me chess, you don't want the best piece. Maybe you want a bishop or a knight or a rook. So when you get a pawn to the end of the board, you can choose which piece to turn it into, and you can play on with that piece when you get your pawn to the end. Okay? So aim of the game just to lose all your pieces. All right, those are the three chess variants that we're going to learn about today. Best thing to do is to go away and have a bit of fun and try some of those ones out. All right? I will put some notes about this up on the website because it's tricky to remember all of them. I'll just show you quickly the three that we played today. I'll just put that up onto the screen again so that you can. Come on, swapping is taking a long time. Oh, there we go. So the three games that we played today, that we learned about. First of all, double move chess. Right? Double move chess, very easy. Remember, white moves one move, then every person after that, two moves, two moves, two moves, two moves. Okay. The tricky part about that one is you're allowed, if you're in check, to take something stay in check for the first move and get out of check on the second move. As long as at the end of your turn you're out of check, you can do any 2 moves you want in that game. So really make sure that you're thinking 2 steps ahead for every single move. Right, the second one we looked at was Snowball chess. Okay, Snowball chess, we remember the picture of the snowball, where 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves, 5 moves. The game gets bigger and bigger after every move. Okay, main strategy in Snowball chess is to go for a checkmate. If you've got 5 or 6 or 7 moves in a row, you're going to be able to get your opponent in checkmate. So don't just go for taking pieces. And the third one that we learned about was take me chess. And take me chess is completely the opposite of chess. We're not aiming for a checkmate anymore. We're just trying to lose all of our pieces. Okay, we're not trying to get to win. We're trying to lose all of our pieces. And if you end up with no pieces at all, you've won the game. Take me chess can end up in a stalemate situation where you've got a piece and they've got a few pieces, but your pawn is blocked, for example. Maybe you're left with just 1 pawn, but it can't move forwards. If it can't move, you've still got a piece on the board. That's a draw. All right, so there's quite a lot of draws in take me chess. There's stalemates where you get to a situation where there's just 1 pawn, can't move forwards, and you've still got pieces on the board. If you can't move any of your pieces, then that's a draw. It's a stalemate. All right. So with all of these 3 games, what we're trying to teach is thinking ahead. Right. The ability to plan 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves ahead. Snowball chess is particularly good for your imagination as well, because you've got to imagine a checkmate position, right? And then think, how am I going to achieve that? If I had 7 moves in a row, oh look, I can get a checkmate. Well, that's going to be really useful when you're playing a real game of chess, because you might say, gee, I can imagine if this was Snowball chess, I could do a checkmate in 7 moves. Now, yes, in a real game, your opponent gets to do some moves and might block you off, but at least you've got that position in your mind. You're able to imagine something deep into the future. Take me chess is really important to think about forcing moves, all right? Because if you can take, you have to take, right? So you can get all these combinations set up where you say, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me. And they might have to take 6 or 7 or 8 of your pieces in a row, right? Because every time if they can take something, they have to. There's no choice. They can't do a move of their own, right? So that means when you're playing your real games, look for ways that you can do forcing moves. Can you put your opponent in check? Then they have to get out of check. Put them in check again. They have to get out of check. Then maybe you get to take their queen, right? So that's thinking all about forcing moves. And the double move chess is just an easy way of just learning how to think 1 or 2 steps ahead. So I'm going to be hanging around for a little while to answer your questions as normal. Please stick around and ask some questions. Otherwise, get out there, play some of these games, and good luck with it. As I said, I will be putting notes about this on schoolchess.com.au. You can get there directly, schoolchess.com.au or chesskids.com.au, and I'll have the rules in some PDF documents that you can download and have a bit of a look at. So have fun, guys. See you next time.